Mr. Jafar, did you or did you not kiss a child? Your Honor, we have screenshots in 4K. Jesus Christ. I don't want to hear anything. Mr. Jafar, the court sentences you to 5 million years in prison. Lock him up and throw away the key.
I'm pregnant.
What? Are you having a boy or an abortion?
The movie begins with a short man with a goatee stash combo singing on a camel. He says that we are in Agrabah and also tells us about a lamp that changed a young man's life. So the actual movie begins with another man with a goatee stash combo and his parrot in the desert making a shady transaction with this short guy. The short guy gives him half of a golden beetle which starts flying, so they follow it because obviously it leads them somewhere. Which is this, I don't know if that's a lion or a tiger's head, but whatever. Jafar is his name, by the way. Tells the short guy to go find a lamp in the Cave of Wonders, which is inside this tiger's throat. And as he's going inside, the tiger tells him that only a worthy person can enter his throat. But when he steps inside, it turns out he's not worthy. So it swallows him like your girlfriend in another university swallows kids. Anyways, back at Agrabah, this guy is being chased by some guards for stealing bread. His name is Aladdin and he's our main character. He gets caught by this guy with hot breath. Then Abu, his monkey, comes to save him. Then they start singing about how he's a thief and he's very, very broke. Then we see some Arabian baddies. So he's basically very, very hard to catch. As they're about to eat, he spots some broke babies with no parents and starts feeling bad for them. But not Abu. He's like, fuck them kids, bro. Aladdin decides to give them his bread. Then Abu gives them his own because of guilty conscience. Meanwhile, some rich dickhead looking guys go into the palace to ask for the princess's hand in marriage. Then the kids from earlier show up. Now let's pause, right? In this frame, she had half a loaf of bread. In the next frame, she had no bread. And Aladdin looks ugly as fuck. But then all of a sudden, she has a full loaf of bread. Then half again. What's going on now, Disney? I'll just say the movie is old. Anyways, Prince Nigga gets upset very quickly and tries to whip them, but then Aladdin comes to protect them from the left side instead of the right side. Again, the movie is old. He kicks Aladdin in some mud and the people laugh with their ugly teeth. Somehow the horse understands English. Then he tells Aladdin that he's broke. He was born broke and will die broke. Then Aladdin gets sad and starts singing like, I'm not broke. I have this fire view of the city. We cut to the palace the next day and the dickhead is storming off because the princess just rejected him and his trousers is torn. Remember, trousers. The Sultan goes to meet his daughter Jasmine and her tiger. Yes, a whole tiger. Who has the material of the nigger's boxers in his mouth? Not trousers. Old movie. Remove. He tells her that the law says that she must be married to a prince by her next birthday. But she doesn't want to marry any random prince. She wants to marry for love. Then she complains about basically being trapped in the palace and how being a princess is ass. Jafar then shows up with this evil smile and turns out he's the Sultan's advisor. The Sultan asks him for help because Jasmine has been rejecting everyone and he says sure, but I'm going to need that ring that's been in your family for generations. Then he hypnotizes the Sultan with his long stick and takes the ring. Then he goes to his lair. Meanwhile, Jasmine is planning to run away. She gives her tiger a hug and leaves. Back at the market, Aladdin and Abu are busy robbing this innocent man who probably has a family to feed of his watermelons. Jasmine is busy walking through the market for the first time and she catches Aladdin's eye. Then she sees another broke child and gives him an apple and she tries to walk away like this is her father's house, and Big Man is trying to cut her hand off because that's what they do to thieves, which makes me think of how many men could not touch themselves anymore because they stole something from the market and lost their hands. Anyways, Aladdin comes to the rescue and says she's his sister and that she's crazy. Then she goes with the flow. Abu steals some more stuff and they dip. Back at the palace, Jafar is busy doing some movie science to find who's worthy enough for the tiger's throat, and it turns out to be Aladdin, who is currently with the princess. They do some flirting, then he takes her to his crib and says he wonders what the palace life would be like. Then they share a little moment of how they both feel trapped in their respective worlds. Then he gives her Abu's apple with this elbow trick, and when Abu tries to get it back, Aladdin stops him and he's like, fuck this shit, man, I want my apple. But Aladdin twists his words to get some and as they're about to kiss, the police show up and take him to court. Mr. Aladdin, did you know that Miss Jasmine was in fact 16 years old when you tried to kiss her? I didn't know her age at the time. You didn't know her age at the time. Mr. Aladdin, how old were you when you brought Miss Jasmine to your house and tried to kiss her? 18 years old, Your Honor. Mr. Aladdin, the court finds you guilty and sentences you to 500 years in prison. Take him away. The guards show up and then he asks her if he trusts him. Then they escape in a way that could have gone wrong very quickly. But then they run into hot breath again and then they arrest him. But Jasmine says they should let him go because she's the princess. And they're like, Jafar sent us, ma. You have to go and talk to him about it. She goes to meet him and he says they arrested him for kidnapping the princess. But she's like, I ran away. He didn't kidnap me. Then Jafar is like, oops. His sentence has already happened. They have cut his head off. And obviously she's shocked and sad at the same time. Then he puts his long ass fingers on her. Then she runs away to go cry. We then cut to Aladdin in prison. Then Abu comes to save him, of course. And as they're doing that, this skinny old man starts talking to him about a cave of wonders, who, believe it or not, is actually Jafar in disguise. Then he deceives him and they escape to go find the cave. When they arrive, Tiger Head tells him that you can enter my throat, but don't touch anything, only the lamp. Then Aladdin goes down the tiger's deep throat. Then they find all the treasure, and as they're looking for the lamp, this magical carpet starts playing around with Abu. Aladdin then asks it to help them find the lamp, and he takes them to where it is. Then he tells Abu to wait for him. Then Abu spots a shiny ostrich egg and goes to take it. Meanwhile, Aladdin is getting the lamp. Unfortunately, the carpet couldn't stop Abu from grabbing the egg. Then everything starts crumbling. Aladdin almost gets deep fried in lava. Then they give us this very fast escape scene with Aladdin's nyash in our faces. Carpet flies them to the entrance, then gets stuck. Then Aladdin asks the old man for help, but he kept saying, give me the lamp first. So Aladdin gives him to him. Then he tries to kill him, but Abu bites his hand and then gets tossed into the cave with Aladdin. Luckily for both of them, Carpet catches them. Then the tiger head dissolves. Plot twist though, Jafar doesn't have the lamp anymore because Abu stole it from him. Then as Aladdin is cleaning the lamp so he can read something, it erupts. And this blue nigger shows up. He introduces himself as Genie and tells Aladdin that he has 3 wishes. Then he starts singing about how he can give him anything he wishes for, like money and some Shakira type babes who will twerk on him. Then he tells him he can't kill anybody for him, make anybody fall in love with anybody, and he can't bring people back from the dead. Then Aladdin hits him with the get a load of this guy. Like, how are you all powerful if you have limitations? And he's like, he probably can't even get us out of this cave. Obviously, Genie feels very disrespected, so he gets them out. Back at the palace, the Sultan is making Jafar apologize for killing a prisoner without letting him know. Then Jasmine says when she is queen, she'll get rid of him. His parrot then gives him the not so bright idea of marrying the princess and becoming the Sultan. Then they can get rid of Jasmine and her father. Meanwhile, Aladdin and his crew arrive at some palm tree spots and Genie is like, I sure show them, huh? Aladdin's like, yeah, sure. Now my 3 wishes though. And Genie is like, do my ears deceive me? You already used 1 wish, but Aladdin technically didn't wish to leave the cave. So this nigga stupid. But Aladdin asks Genie for what he would wish for, and Genie says his freedom because he has all the power in the world, but he's basically a slave to his master. The only way he can be free is if his master wishes him free. And Aladdin says he'll use his 3rd wish to set him free. Then he starts talking about Jasmine, but she's a princess and she can only get married to a prince. Then he gets the idea and wishes to become a prince. Genie turns Abu into an elephant, which is like very messed up. Meanwhile, Jafar comes to the Sultan and tells him that if the princess hasn't chosen a husband at the appointed time, then the Sultan has to choose for her. But if no prince is available, then she has to marry the royal advisor. And look at this man, he's smiling about marrying a child. Then he starts hypnotizing the Sultan again to order the princess to marry him. But my guy's like, nigga, you're old as fuck though. Then he doubles down again. And while they're doing that, they hear some music from the city because Prince Ali is pulling up with hella stuff, money and hoes. They do a grand entrance and then he introduces himself to the Sultan. Then he makes him happy by letting him ride his magical carpet, like when you let your cousins play Subway Surfers on your phone when you visit them. Then Jasmine pulls up and hears them basically treating her like some piece of meat. Then she storms off. At night, Genie gives Aladdin some solid advice by telling him to tell Jasmine the truth that he doesn't want to listen to because he thinks she wouldn't fuck with him if she found out he was just some broke nigga. Then he goes up to her room balcony and he's trying to act like a prince, but she doesn't want any of it. Then she notices that he looks like someone she met in the market, but he's trying to sound all posh and cocky. Then Genie gives him some flirting tips and then she starts flirting back and bro starts losing his cool because I don't think he's gotten this far before. But then she says he's just like the rest of the royal cocky bastards and that he should jump off the balcony. Then he tells her she's right and that she should be free to make her own choices. Then he jumps off and comes back when she freaks out and Shawty is confused. Then he shows her his magical carpet and offers her a ride. She asks if it's safe. Then he asks her if she trusts him, which is exactly what Aladdin told her in the market not too long ago. go. Then they go on a ride around Agrabah. And what does this teach kids? If you don't have a car, your girl will probably leave you for someone who does. He does the elbow apple pass thing that he did with Abu's apple. Then she starts connecting the dots. They then make a stop in China and she says it's a shame Abu had to miss all of this. And he responds saying Abu hates fireworks. And the carpet is like, nigga, you stupid. Then he realizes he exposed himself. Then she asks him why he lied to her and tells him to say the truth. And guess what he did? He lied again, saying he really is a prince and sometimes he disguises himself as a commoner to escape palace life. Basically 35% of Nollywood movies. She believes him though, so a win is a win, I guess. He returns her home and they kiss. And just when bro starts winning, some guards jump him and Jafar orders them to disappear him. So they throw him off a cliff and chain some weights to his ankles. Luckily for him, the lamp was inside his hat. So he struggles a bit trying to get it and then passes out. But obviously he's the main character. So Genie comes out and sees him, but he can't help him unless he makes a wish. So Genie helps him make the wish for himself and saves him. Then they hug and fly back to the palace where the Sultan is telling Jasmine that she will marry Jafar. She tells her father that she chose Prince Ali, but then Drake tells her that Ali left, but my man shows up and tells him to confess his sins of attempted murder. Then he sees how Dr. Disrespect is controlling the Sultan, so he takes his long stick and breaks it. The Sultan gets his mind back and gets mad at him and arrests him, but he escapes with some movie magic. The Sultan then says Allahu Akbar and celebrates his daughter's marriage. Then Aladdin starts getting guilty conscience. Meanwhile, Jafar figures out that Ali is actually Aladdin and plots to steal the lamp. Aladdin is all sad because without Genie, he's just a broke ass nigga and people only respect him because of the Genie. Long story short, can't wish Genie free with his third wish. Genie gets mad at him and he's like, fuck you then. Then he looks at Abu and he's like, the fuck are you looking at, monkey? So now everyone in his crew is mad at him. So he decides to tell Jasmine the truth. Then he hears her voice and goes to meet her. But it turns out it's just a parrot who then goes and steals the lamp. Meanwhile, the Sultan is announcing his daughter's suitor to the people. Jafar is also busy becoming Genie's new master, like he just bought a new slave. And then he wishes to become the Sultan. Then he wishes to be the most powerful sorcerer in the world. Then he forces the Sultan and Jasmine to bow before him and turns her big pussy into a small pussy. Then he catches Aladdin and exposes him to be a broke ass nigga with no money, no cars, no hoes, and no influence. Then he puts him inside a tower and shoots him away. Aladdin ends up in some snowy mountain along with Abu and the carpet that's currently stuck under the tower. So they start digging, but then the tower starts rolling towards them. So he times a window and with some luck they don't get killed. Then they hop on the carpet and head back to Agrabah. Meanwhile, the parrot is torturing the ex-sultan and Jasmine is basically a slave. Arabian Didi asks her to marry him but she refuses. Then he wishes for her to fall deeply in love with him, and as Genie is trying to explain the rules to him, he says shut the fuck up. Aladdin then shows up and Jasmine starts going with the flow again, acting as if she's under some Babalawo love potion. So Jafar thinks Genie did the wish. Then he calls her pussycat. Somebody call the police. She starts rubbing his head while Aladdin makes his way to get the lamp, but then the parrot sees him and tries to snitch, but Abu covers his mouth. They struggle for a bit and make some noise, and as Jafar is about to turn around, she pulls him in and they kiss.
Oh! Ew! What the fuck?
Mr. Jafar, did you or did you not kiss a child? Your Honor, we have screenshots in 4K. Jesus Christ. I don't want to hear anything. Mr. Jafar, you have been found guilty of attempted murder, 2 counts, association with murder, dictatorship, slavery, and the worst of them all, pedophilia. Mr. Jafar, the court sentences you to 5 million years in prison. Lock him up and throw away the key. He even enjoyed the kiss, bro. My god, this nigga's weird. He spots Aladdin in a reflection and zaps him. Then Aladdin tells her to get the lamp, but then he traps her inside an hourglass. Then he turns into the serpent from the Book of Revelations and tries to eat Aladdin. Aladdin does some parkour, stabs Jafar, then goes to break Jasmine out, but Jafar catches him and flexes on him. Then Aladdin gets an idea. He basically says the genie is way more powerful than him because the genie gave him the powers that he has. Then Jafar gets the not so bright idea to wish to become an all-powerful genie. So Genie grants his wish, and while he's feeling himself, Aladdin breaks Jasmine out. And as Jafar is enjoying how powerful he is, Aladdin reminds him that he may be powerful, but now he's a slave to the lamp. So he gets trapped in there. Now everyone and everything returns back to normal, and Arabian Didi gets thrown away, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but that looks like a bad idea. What happens when someone finds the lamp and wishes for Tinubu to win again? I'm just saying, hiding the lamp would have been better than throwing it away. Anyways, they end up being sad because even though she loves him, he can't marry her because he's not a prince. Genie's like, broski, just wish to become a prince again. I got you. But Aladdin's a good guy now, he doesn't want to lie anymore. So he wishes for Genie's freedom. Then some Disney magic happens. His shackles are broken, but he still has his powers. And I think that would make him more dangerous, but we move, they hug, and the Sultan's like, fuck this shit. I'm Sultan. I make the rules. The princess can marry whoever she wants, and then they celebrate. Genie is free, and Aladdin and Jasmine kiss and live happily ever after. Moral of the story, everyone from the Sultan, Aladdin, Jafar, hell, even the parrot, the Disney writers for the movie, lock everyone up and throw away the key.